Greetings and salutations, moppers, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Case 9? We are currently cross-examining the 3 witnesses who discovered Van Zeeks in the crime scene. Yes. And we have just revealed that a piece of evidence was not where it was initially thought. Which is very strange. The notice board was behind the door, or in front of the door? On this side, rather than where it currently is. Which means somebody moved it. Let's see where this goes. Because if no one's lying, there are truths being hidden. Or they're the third party? Fourth party? 3 of them. Van Zeeks. 5th party. There's a 5th party involved. Or one of the witnesses of the murder. You know, either or, really. Let's get something. Oh, there we go. Order! Order! Counsel! How has this not come to light before now? After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room. There's the music. Witness! What have you to say for yourself?
What? Me, man?
You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board. The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime.
Huh? Stop looking over your glasses at me. I get the message.
I think she did my Cockney accent. The mystery of the moving board.
I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just want my hands on it, that's all.
What a button.
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time.
How? You said you... What? Okay, that's not context.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander. Me, just a sign at the crossroads of life.
I feel really bad for that guy.
It was that Reaper, I bet. He got a face that stinks, boy. I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
That's the thing. You didn't hear a gunshot, you hear a firecracker. I'm assuming. They don't introduce a firecracker lady and not use a firecracker. So, none of you can elaborate further. Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. We can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened.
That's right. Yeah. It don't pay to expect too much.
It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think.
Do you? Really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Barack Van Zeeks. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact. Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses, despite the circumstances? Most certainly, my lord. Very well. Then you may proceed, counsel. Cross-examination. The mystery of the moving board.
I don't know anything about that new news board. I just wipe my hand on it, that's all.
Hold it! So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on?
Admit? What's to admit? It's there plain as day for all to see. A smashing print of my right hand.
Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint. So you read the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you?
No, and that's the way of that great look. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man?
Well, did you see anybody else moving the board?
I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was such a little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver.
In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point. Yes, so it would seem.
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time.
Hold it! When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks?
Yeah, what else? There's the Priory School just round the corner, see? Those chicken little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their schools with Kingdom Come. So I've been telling on them, letting the teachers know what they're up to.
Oh, you have.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see?
What a racket.
Of course. And sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life, selling explosives.
Venus is a guileful goddess indeed.
Well, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. Really. I'm ever so good at it.
Interesting. Excuse me! Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich?
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No. Did Miss Venus's statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Let's say there was a great liar. And that great liar said, without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of her be a lie too? Or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one. Don't you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying. Are you?
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
You have a sterling, disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady. So, Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Old blabbermouth here, headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. That rotten liar over there.
Do you mean to say that you did, in fact, betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I?
Yes, you mentioned it.
Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it?
Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch? So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief.
Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah.
Either you clearly remember it or you don't. Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh yes, my lord, of course. Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened.
Hold it! You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus?
Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, sir, I take everything I say with a big pinch of salt.
Alright. But you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying.
The truth, please.
Well, alright. Just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know.
Did you touch anything at the scene?
Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I had a look to see if there was anything I could still sell. So I did give the place a once-over, but it was nothing to write home about.
Right. Now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I add.
The truth, please.
Well, alright then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, I flipped the blasted thing.
You're telling us that you did move that board?
I think that did slip out, didn't it?
What? You deaf rampart!
I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps? To sell?
Oh, please. I should be so lucky.
The truth, now!
I might have found this old pocket watch under the noseboard, I suppose. But a bit of junk like this isn't worth much. Ah! Aha! So it was you, was it? You're the one who what took it? Ah, goddamn, trying to get her feminine. Gina?
Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch? That watch there. That watch was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his club to come at the pub. I see. I swiped it off him once, and blimey was he upset. He gave me a light earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did.
Probably not the best thing to go diving for then.
That's not all the... It's not all that though. I took it to Jabez that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. Knocked about and worthless, he called it. I knew I should have lifted it.
That watch must be submitted as evidence at once.
Oh please, just so long as you promise to give it back when you're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again.
Not enough. Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith.
Now, children, watch your manners.
Good lord! The glass appears to be broken.
More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot.
It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5.
Exactly when the gunshot was heard then.
Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course.
Versus the pocket watch has been entered in the court record.
Well, it would appear that the mystery of the moving noseboard has been solved at least.
And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case.
Now then, continue your cross-examination, please, Joseph.
Okay, let's check out the pocket watch. Keyhole. Ah! There's a tiny little keyhole here. Can you see it?
Oh yes. That's probably the winder used to wind up the mechanism.
It looks a little unusual, don't you think?
Yes. You need just the right key to wind it, I imagine.
Why do I feel as though I've seen something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit this hole?
It would be wonderful if you had the key. Let's check carefully over what we found.
What's this? There's a tiny little stub sticking out from this small hole here, look.
I thought there must have been a little knob or something on that for saying the time.
In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of this watch, it probably broke with the incident occurred, did it?
Yes, of course.
Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene. Maybe. Okay, so let's
turn head, the helm of this charming policeman appears to be the little West forehead.
Oh, wait, just the same stuff. So now, we active key. Mr. Sato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch?
Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose.
I imagine just me and Susato like holding a corner at the defense's bench, just like fiddling around with stuff every time we do this. I knew it. A perfect fit.
And look, the inspector's watch has started going again.
Wait, this is bad. So it has obviously just not been wound up. That's all. What is it, Mrs. Sato?
Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could have profound implications.
She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I better start thinking deeply too. The details of Grayson's pocket watch had been updated for her. The glass over the face really is badly cracked. Look.
What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully.
I imagine Mr. Sholmes can repair it, don't you?
Yes, I should think so.
He's very adept at things like this. A useful man to have around, in fact.
But kindly remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Naruto, not an odd-job man.
Yeah, it's kind of like half expecting like a full alchemist thing where like carving aside.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander. Me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life.
Hold it!
But you did go to see what had happened in the room, didn't you?
Fresno Street is my whole world. That's all I know. And I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high.
So, you did go to see what had happened.
It's not the destinations that's important. It's how you get there, isn't it?
Did you notice the notice board in the room?
If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the sign family. So if I spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out of a sense of rivalry, I admit.
Someone really needs to tell you that you're a Homo sapien, not a Homo sciens. Does that mean that you didn't notice the board?
I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life.
In which case, just who was responsible for moving the notice board? He was a Luke, I bet. He's got a face that steams blood.
Hold it!
What exactly do you mean by that? Oh, come on now. Don't tell us you've not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that's all. But not notice boards. That's the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes. I can't say I'd ever noticed. I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off the man on the floor, or off the Nipo. Not for a second. Sorry? Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a feel like that might do if you look away, do you? If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should have been able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. I can. The limit did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. I can have missed it. If he heaved that thing up again and dragged it into the photo. Right. Glad we cleared that up. What happened to the face that screams, bored? I feel your pain, Cosmo.
I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
Hold it!
It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it?
Maybe the noseboard fell over, or maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way, because of that gunshot we all heard. So your fate's sealed too.
My fate? That's right. The defense is fate. The defense is fated to lose. And the prosecution to win. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So if I could just find some problem with that part of their story, it may be possible to change all our fates.
Of course, none of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it?
Not much to go on. As you pointed out, Mr. Naruto, there's no question that the noseboard was moved, so somebody must have done it. But it did happen after the event, so maybe Cosmo is right, and is not relevant to the case. But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. So I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this. Yes, I know what you mean. I've no doubt there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track, I can feel it. So follow your instincts. Alright then. How long do punk watches last? Is that something that you should know? I don't know what I should present. Like, the watch moving again and being frozen at 5 screams to me that he was killed before because he didn't have time to wind it up. He winds it every evening. So that means he had to be killed before the last evening.
Objection!
Oh, thank God. I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case.
Oh.
At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. A key? And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What? Order! 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 But counsel! The watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah, which is just when we heard that gunshot.
It is exactly the hour. The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing, other than when it wound down. It is merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection!
No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago.
The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his club to come at the pub. He said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him. That's what he did.
The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day, in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well. Yes, that would be entirely reasonable. But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day. Oh, aye!
Well,
Why is that so fast?
but how do you explain it?
Oh,
Well, how do you explain it then?
gave her the tongue. That's list. In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. You can't mean. What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead. Order! Order! Counsel! That is a most extraordinary claim!
Objection!
Extraordinary isn't the word. It's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before. Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that?
On that subject, there is something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report.
I probably should have read that.
The time of death is not noted.
That's right.
Wait a minute! You're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked going.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty great puddle of blood.
Yes. So the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh.
He kept it on fast, didn't he?
Objection!
But that blood could be explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been poured over the victim's body after
Objection!
Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner?
Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities. So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example.
It's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
Objection!
But that gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question. It is.
Is it though?
What? Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, isn't it beyond the realms of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all?
Oh, please. What are you trying to say?
I thought no what we heard. And it was a loud bang that came from that there room.
Now you listen to me. A street seller's ears are his livelihood.
I don't doubt your ears, sir. But all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise.
Huh?
Explain yourself then, counsel! A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with firecrackers.
Take that!
Well, the culprit could have used something like this, for example.
Oh, really? A demonstration is in order then, I feel.
Really? What?
Yes, please. Show the court how you could use that to create a noise like a gunshot.
We're waiting, counsel! I may have been mistaken. Wait, really?
It looks like you've been making a lot of noise yourself, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah! Ugh, Cosmo's got a devastating way with words in English too.
I realize it may be difficult to retract what you said and present some different evidence, but perhaps...
Yes, I was thinking the same thing myself. That's because I'm convinced there is some evidence that could produce a similar noise.
Explain yourself then, counsel!
I know this sounds like a gunshot. It could have been made with... I just thought the firecrackers was a good thing. Because they said they couldn't distinguish a firecracker from a gunshot. Well, you can't examine anything else like it. Oh.
Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruto? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks.
Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like.
Shall we find out?
What? But he said it could blow up the courtroom. Alright, that was a fairly sizable bang.
That ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruto. It sounded almost exactly like...
God damn it, I didn't update it. I was a fool. I was right, but I was a fool.
Take that!
Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot.
Good gracious! The very fireworks that are sold by the witness?
No. Hold on a minute. Are you saying I did it?
No, I'm saying you're one of your customers did.
My pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway, see?
Not 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact.
You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the scene.
I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers on Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Barack Van Zieks.
One whiff of my match and my firecrackers go pop, see? It's why people like them.
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Objection!
Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb.
Good heavens! A bomb?
Yes, a device that allows you to blow up wherever you like, whenever you like.
Mr. Naruto, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident.
Ah, no, wait. It's the whenever part that's important.
A time device.
Yes, exactly. A time device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot, long after the culprit had left. Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have to suggest in any way that a timed device was employed to create the gunshot sound? Well, the candle, right?
Take that!
As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in this candelabrum was blown off. Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim. I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible? Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle. There are? Good goodness, yes! But is it not the case that there was also scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound? That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at a very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun. Oh! Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be the result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks.
How can that be?
The fact that there's such visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or put it another way, the candle and firecrackers were joined together. The culprit somehow attached firecrackers at a point partway down the candle, after the killer had left the scene. The candle slowly burnt down along with the other two, until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecrackers, generating a loud hot actual hero. That's what the sign says. Never read that. And that's how these three witnesses came to believe they heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock. Well, what a plot! And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we've been led to believe. The previous day, even.
No. Now just hold your horses. All us lot here saw the victim go into the building, remember?
I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair, even if I wanted to.
The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this.
Ah!
Obviously, anybody can wear a wig. So the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely wearing the red hairpiece.
Someone else? Do you mean to say?
It was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer.
Oh, very impressive, Rinosuke. Naruhodo.
Kazuma? I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also noted the lack of time of death in this report. A stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired.
Order! 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 Prosecutor Asogi! What on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today. So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But, while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly, I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course,
What was Inspector Gregson doing? Where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard. Even within the yard? However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing. Wouldn't you, my learned friend?
I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating.
Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death. Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident? Do I present the Red Head League article? Or just present the notice board? Because I'm pretty sure he's expecting he was investigating the Reaper case.
Take that!
I guess I find your answer suggestive of anything particular. Other than, perhaps, that it is utterly wrong. That much you have clarified most expertly. What? Congratulations, Rinosuke Naruhodo. You deserve a reward for that expert display. Ah! Did you just draw Kuruma on me, my friend?
I think, Ms. Naruhodo, that there's one particular piece of evidence that really does stand out in showing what case Inspector Gregson was investigating.
My lord, I have the answer now. Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case? Okay, no time of death. Maria Gory. Victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front, resulting in instant death. Course marks at point of entry, the bullet exited the body from behind. To show observation, the caliber of gun used matches that of standard issue firearms for members of the judiciary.
Take that!
Okay, it was not that one. I was kind of curious. It's either the Reaper or the Professor case, so what do I present? Unless they actually do want me to present the Redhead League article.
Take that!
Okay, it was the Redhead League article. I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. We might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation. Surely not! Not such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable. Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League? So, you've already worked it out. What on earth is all this about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen? The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception. A deception of what nature, Counsel? They've been targeting red-headed men across all of London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord, the defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once. Two redheads? Ho 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 ho. Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red Head League using this hairpiece. So it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events. I concur that we cannot, in good conscience, leave this new avenue unexplored.
Well done, Mr. Naruto.
Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us at least. The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these two Red-Headed League conspirators before me, Prosecutor Asuki. At once, my lord. Very good. We will have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned. To be continued. Woo! I think that deserves a snack. Man, I bought a new phone and not looking forward to transferring over my old stuff. Because I'm always worried about losing my passwords. Or like my passkeys and whatnot. In the age of like two-factor authentication, that's my biggest worry. Well, that getting hacked. But you know, one or the other, really. We were in there for 3 hours? But doesn't the case usually start at 9? That does not seem like a 3-hour cross-examination. 2nd November, 12:33 p.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber.
Oh, there you are, Odo. Well, what kept you, my dear fellow?
Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Gina?
You sure about what you said in there? That the boss, you know, actually died the day before. It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I. Possibly more shocked than both of you.
It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. But I was more shocked than all of you put together.
This is the autopsy report in question, is it?
Yes. It's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission.
Oh dear, if it was deliberate, it put me in mind of the last case we worked on. Dr. C's. Fine.
I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zeeks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red Head League. So perhaps something happened with them. Time to think of it. You had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick.
No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income.
And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose.
The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean. That's the light slews, and it was me what took them in. Thanks to a tip-off by a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly.
So it goes. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Redhead League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Don't tell him with the same blush as you, Sholmes. Yes, well... Then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zeeks for some reason. The Reaper, the Redhead League, Inspector Gregson, and Lord Van Zeeks. And Cosmo. I feel as though he knew we arrived at this point somehow.
Gosh, I think you're right. I think you're right.
What's he really trying to achieve here today?
All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly.
Yes, you're right. Cosmo was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Mr. Sato?
Yes.
Second November, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed case court hearing of Barack Van Zeeks, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Asogi.
My lord,
Have you summoned the witnesses as requested?
yes, the two members of the Redhead League who planned and carried out the deception.
They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men into the courtroom.
these two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court.
What voice did I give them? I am Fabian de Loiseau, a descendant of the great de Loiseau family from Nice and Flan.
And my name is Peppino de Rosi. I am the third son of the great family de Rosi,
The landlords are from Nepal. The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility.
Those who graduate from Temsik are the future leaders of Europe. And that's... Do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alas, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little grey cells of my brain. That is all I'm trying to do.
So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out?
Wait, you could say that.
Not a bad, eh? He has the grand ideas, but the petty plans. This strange combination is the charm of the hilarious brothers. See, capo?
Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you.
Eh, che? Are you about to tell me one of your grand antidotes? Viva, viva!
Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business.
Chibello, there it is! The capo's trump card, the furrowed brow. It is deep, capo? The furrow and the meaning of your words. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true?
Oui, c'est ça.
And what exactly was the nature of this deception, by which you plan to defraud?
Alors, I will explain it.
No, capo, leave it to me, You see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The capo here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse, crying like the Trevi fountain. We, those dogs. One day the world will respect us redheads. Every night he would bury his head. His head. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow and weep for the injustice.
C'est bien, Peppino, enough. I will explain the last. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London.
Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled to the Red-Headed League.
Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it.
It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On a date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement. And from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings.
And with this money to France. It was a plan most elegant, no?
No, It was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick.
The park was described by one witness as chalked with red-headed folk, like a coaster's orange burrow. A coster's orange burrow.
And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day.
Well, I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life.
See, and now, every time I see the couple's hair, I feel sick to my stomach.
Anyway, why have we been summoned here today?
Sorry?
The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told.
Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph.
Very good. So, Mr. Rousseau and Mr. de Rosy, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph.
Of course, we are always ready to help with the law.
Where's he getting the spaghetti from? I want spaghetti. I haven't made spaghetti in a long time. I've been craving like a good bolognese.
The man in the photograph.
We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day.
But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Hey, couple!
No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now, but I assure you, he was not in the park.
Alora, this victim is nothing to do with us.
You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place.
Interesting.
You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain?
Wait. I am certain we did not interview this man.
Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise. Why, it must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assertions. Oofa, with this attitude, we get to nowhere, He's really a sulking now.
This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary, dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Redhead League, undercover.
Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh?
That is ridiculous.
There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Redhead League. Which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed. He was killed before the meeting. Very well. The defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Ah, yes, my lord. Ah. I can't swallow my spit properly. It hit my uvula. That blew the wind out my. Oh, now my useless itchy.
The man in the photograph.
We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day.
Hold it!
1,000 people? That's a very big crowd.
It was quite a spectacle. Redheads had come from all over the capital. See, the capo here. He has the magnissimo animal, eh? Nobody else could attract up so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo. All those people wanted the money, Peppino, the £4 per week.
Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants?
Oh wait, that we did, because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We take the names, and we take the money, and we take their addresses as well. Then I tell them we take some days to let them know by a post. Finito. Maybe 2 minutes a person. We started early in the morning and we stopped late in the night.
So you earned 5,000 shillings in one day? That's a small fortune.
Who would have thought there were a thousand such gullible redheads in London to start with?
One of them who was a great detective with chemically altered hair.
But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Eh, capo?
Hold it!
He doesn't look at all familiar.
No, I don't think so. And this is a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people.
Says the con artist.
If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face.
No, senor. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget the thing.
Oh, I'm jealous.
In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park.
But he's not going to give the court a definite, it seems.
Hey, capo, you didn't see a man like this, huh? No, I don't remember him. And obviously, he is dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park.
Hold it!
According to what you said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day.
Wait, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day.
Surely then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present?
Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe then we would recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of the fact. That fact. If there was a man with the red headpiece, but his mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I would have forgotten him.
Cosmo said these two had only been shown that photograph, and they'd been told nothing else at all. But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example, his fish and chips.
I can surely appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Not really. I was only looking at the ends of the applicants. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips any more than the caviar and smoked salmon. Or spaghetti. Me, I love the spaghetti. Great Davis. Really? I had no idea. Tell them again what you said before, Peppino. Si, capo, si. I say it again and again. Alors, this victim is nothing to do with us.
Hold it!
But we only have your word for that.
See, what else can you do?
True.
Oompa. We are not having much fun these days. First we are arrested, and then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. And now you question every single thing we say. We are the victims here. Hey, capo.
No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people.
You had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Eh, capo?
You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that?
Cavolo, you promised not to say, eh, capo?
After we had taken all the money that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to Dunkirk to my companion here. But he blocked them for the long day. Oops.
See, but it is an easy mistake to make. The first, the 31st.
I have no sympathy for you. We were all day late for the boat because of your stupidity. And it's only because of this that the so-called great red-headed detective caught us.
Capo, you know what I think. This is the work of God. It's a holy punishment, eh?
Peppino, for the last time, this is not only punishment. This is only your fault.
Ah,
Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You're making me sick with anger.
maybe I make a mistake. But when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is faster.
And I've seen the evidence. You haven't told us much that we didn't already know. What do you think, Mr. Yamato? Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Line Street that day. And
And yet these two both claim they didn't see him. I have to say, don't appear to be telling lies.
Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounding plausible is their specialty. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well.
Surely, if they were truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught.
Well, yes, you do have a point there. It seems to me like we need more information.
Definitely. We add more than 1,000 lead-headed people.
I actually should read that again. Okay, what can we do? What can we do? So these all not relevant. I'm actually gonna stop here. I'm gonna stack up the focus. Okay, so what is the contradiction here? He was not at the park. Party left. And you do make a good point that a man with a mustache, different color from his hair, will be noticeable. What is the contradiction here? What evidence can I present that proves that he was at the park? Your presents a notice board, but that doesn't really prove anything. Because we just have the diary saying that he was planning on investigating it. It doesn't prove that he ever went there. Yeah, man, I'm actually really stumped here. This is one of the rare moments where I have like no leads whatsoever. Nothing in my thought process was like linking a piece of evidence to like any other proceedings. It must be that the victim has nothing to do with them. Because he was planning on investigating. But the fact he wasn't there is a thing in itself.
Objection!
Oh, nothing. My lord, there are clearly grounds for being suspicious of that last statement. I'm sorry, counsel, but I failed to see why. Well, you know, I was just playing devil's advocate. Yes, you do appear to have something of the devil in you, Mr. Naruhodo. Says the man merely dishing out penalties. I think I have to bring out the walkthrough again. Really just cannot think of what this could be. According to the walkthrough, it's a very short case. Is this part 2? Or maybe part 3. Oh. I'm stupid. I could have gone for other options during the statement. Of course, I am so goddamn stupid. I can't believe I did not even think of doing those options. But anyway, that used to don't do it with other people. That's true. Normally, right here, they're fresh shit. But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example, his profession. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective? Is the man in the photograph a detective? Yes. It would appear he found your nose in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing. Man, I really screwed this one up.
Excuse me!
Something to add, Mr. DeRossi? Check. See. I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, do you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Eh? What did he just to say about the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There's a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Good lord! Order! 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 I didn't expect him to say that outright. That's why I didn't pursue it. Explain this volte-face in your testimony, witness. It's simple. A man who was at the bar said to us that he was an inspector. There was no such a man. Madai! What are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten it? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park.
Basta, capo, basta. You beat me at many things, but not two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way. So shut up.
Objection!
Look, Dad, the damage is done.
Indeed it is, sir.
Well, there was a man who came to the park and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be so sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was clean-shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner.
No resemblance whatsoever, then.
Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof. See, the couple here, he doesn't take no nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification?
That is most unconvincing.
Sorry, my lord?
Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question.
Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity?
That's why I didn't pursue it. It made no sense. Clearly, the papers were fake. Sotto Capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh? And what happened after he announced that he was a detective? It became very annoying. He said you are under investigation. So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastical, and look, here is the identification.
So you stole it from the man.
He had it all coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was. He was.
Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behavior as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be pertinent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence.
But I like them.
The inspector's identification has been entered into the court record.
Now, let's return to the witness's testimony.
Can't find anything out of place. How about open it? Why is this so hard? Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Probably just something plucked out of air. Like, it's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what? This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me. But how? The department identification number details are all correct as well.
Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say...
I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard.
But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing, after all. Inspector Grigson's police identification is the official warrant card issued to him by Scotland Yard. No blood. You present it now?
Objection!
I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade? Why Miss Lestrade? What is your attention here, Counsel? Is this really a fake, or is it genuine? That's the question. Which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection!
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen.
Hold it! That is the boss's! No question about it!
It can't be! As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red Head League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation.
This is the law!
Order! Order!
But if the boss's had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on at me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he say.
Could be then that the inspector was physically unable to report it.
Physically, eh? What are you saying?
Unable to. You're not suggesting. Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No. Order! 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 The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that?
I know nothing. I done nothing. And pull yourselves together, Tapino. Mondu, you can behave a little more like a master criminal than that, no? Now I wish I had to return to Italia. Stop this crying, Peppino. Please. Otherwise, I... Lumen, stop your whining and start talking.
Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in considerable great detail.
I know nothing. I don't know nothing.
But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. You will dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. For crying out loud. Witness testimony. The detective and the identification. Man, what a unexpected twist that Grayson was robbed and had the day stolen. But ooh man, can't wait to see how this plays out because I am totally confused. And the FAQ is interesting. So very interested to see how this plays out now. Until then, thank you everyone who joined me today, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.